Hey guys, I'm Bisi Atkins.
Hey guys, I'm Mike Slimster.
And I'm Claire Teku, and this is Culture
Unfiltered.
So next up, we have an amazing guest all the way from Jamaica. He is 1/3 of the biggest group like ever, Major Lazer. Make some noise for Walshy Fire! Welcome to Culture Unfiltered.
Yeah, man. I'm great. How are you guys?
I'm blessed.
Yeah, that's
what part of the world are you calling us from, or what part of the world are you in right now?
Yeah, man. You just said it, man. Same place.
Jamaica.
Yeah, man. Same so.
I've never been to Jamaica, you know. I really want to go.
No reason not to. Tourism is still going here. We're doing well.
Have you guys been, Ike, Claire?
Sorry?
No, I've never been actually.
I have. I went to Jamaica once, and that's the place that's like, when I get money, I'm buying land. I never felt connected to the people in a place before the way I felt connected there. So I'm sold. I'm very sold.
Yeah, man. The Caribbean is a special place, especially like Trinidad, Cuba. Those two places in particular, alongside Jamaica, just very special. St. Lucia. When you get there, you feel this almost automatic welcome, and Cuba's welcome is probably on turbo. It's like the most welcoming place you can go in the world. And you know, it's an African nation, so when you land, you naturally feel connected to the people just off of the fact that the majority of the people there are African, and so but their culture is probably more welcoming than any other culture I've experienced in my life.
I love that. So you've been in the music industry for years now, and you've been in the game for long. You've been producing, you've been making music, you've been part of Major Lazer, you've been doing a lot. But I want to go back to like the genesis. So before music, before every single thing, what was your life like growing up?
Probably your basic black experience anywhere in the world kind of thing. Of course, I lived in Jamaica until I was 11. Then I moved to Connecticut, then to Miami. So I finished high school in Miami, and then after that went to Clark Atlanta University. And after Clark Atlanta University, getting an undergrad degree, I went to grad school at Florida A&M, FAMU. So I have had a great life. Life has been awesome. I'm a regular kid from the ghetto, just like everyone else. You know, my mom definitely did her thing to make sure that we didn't have to go through what she went through. You know, so salute to the queens.
Salute to the queen. And Claire, I saw that you was there when you said that you went to school where? Connecticut or something?
Yeah, so you talked about going to Clark, you talked about FAMU, and I went to
HBCUs.
HBCUs.
Yeah, HBCUs. Yeah. If you guys if you other guys didn't go to HBCUs, you just won't understand that. You won't understand that head nod, and that gunshot happens every single time you say HBCU. Yeah, and someone else says HBCU, because if she said she went to Howard, I would have done the same thing. I'd have been like bop bop bop. You know, it's bigger. The one thing about going to a HBCU is I realized, even though I went to a really good HBCU, I would argue the best HBCU in the world, I realized that it's a bigger network than what I had when I was going there envisioned. I was in a Clark Atlanta, we say Morrisbound, Morehouse, Spelman kind of mind frame due to the fact that that was what's around me. But then when I went out into the world, it became it didn't matter. It doesn't matter what HBCU you went to. I'm in a bigger group than my particular HBCU, because an HBCU's experience, regardless of where it is most likely going to be so similar that we'll be able to relate in a space that most people won't be able to relate.
So we're gonna get into your journey with music a little bit more, but you grew up in a Chinese and Jamaican household, is that correct?
Correct. There's a
So
lot of Chinese people in Jamaica.
so what was that like? Is it like two separate cultures? How was that growing up? The same households with two different cultures.
Walk with me as I try to break down how this works. So basically, Chinese people are in every single part of America. There's really almost nowhere in America that you can't go and you won't find a Chinatown. Shout out to all my conspiracy theorists on that. We can delve into that if y'all like. But anyways, quietly, Chinese people have built a community in every single part of the world, except a very small few. And Jamaica is one of those places. So basically, what you have is when, and I'm going to say this, and I hope you guys can really grasp what I'm about to say. There are certain places in the world that are just special, and in my opinion, more special than anywhere else I've ever been. And I've been to maybe 120 countries. I'm going to name them, and maybe you'll see a pattern. Jamaica, Trinidad, Cuba, and Brazil. Now, everywhere else is on the border of that, like Panama, Guyana, Suriname, Curacao. Those are like right on the border. But I just want to highlight the four places I just mentioned. Those four places are the only places in the entire world that I have seen somebody go to, and within months they've adapted that culture almost like they were born there. They become so Brazilian, so Jamaican. They immediately shed whatever it was where they came from. They come from France, if they come from South Africa, if they come from Canada, they immediately become Jamaican. They immediately become Brazilian. They immediately become Trinidadian. And so if you can look at the American Chinese people, just imagine if all of them immediately became, let's say Black Americans are the coolest people in America. If they all immediately adapted, I'm talking about within one generation, immediately adapted Black American culture, dated Black Americans, went to Black American school. That's what this is. Now, I want to be very clear, it's not like that throughout the whole place that Chinese people go to. Chinese people, when they go to like Australia, they don't want to be Australian. When they go to Peru, they don't want to be Peruvian. I don't know if you guys know about the civil war that happened there between Japanese people and the natives. So many Japanese people moved to Peru that they began to just start their own country almost. And you realize that the Japanese people, when they come to Jamaica, they want to be Jamaican, and so there are certain places in the world that the culture is so strong and the branding is so strong. Cuba, Brazil, Jamaica, and I'm going to throw Trinidad in there, that when you see somebody move there, usually their kids don't want to be anything that their parent was. Wow. So within one generation, they usually have sex with a Black person and have black babies, which is the total opposite of what you might see in America or in Canada, or in London, where Chinese people they actually form a community. Their daughters still date other Chinese guys. The language still holds strong. The culture still holds strong. None of that. When they get to Jamaica, it's Jamaican. And that's why you'll see like Chinese Rasta men, and you'll see, you rarely see a full-bred Chinese person because they had to have just arrived. And for the most part, if they did, and they're a man, these women are on them. Because they understand the hustle. They understand the hustle. They understand that there's Chinese guys probably coming with a shop, He's probably doing importing and exporting. He's doing a hustle. He's doing something. And they understand that, and they understand that they should that's a person that you should be involved with, because he's usually going to have a business and money and stuff like that. So it don't take long, man. Before you know it, you have a mixed race baby born, and that's just how it works. So it's not like anywhere else. So my parents were Jamaican, but fully Jamaican.
Wow, that's brilliant.
And I can confirm, when I was in Jamaica, I was like, y'all, I'm Jamaican now. Don't talk to me. I'm
Hmm. Yeah, and the reason why I threw Trinidad in there is because I know a lot of people don't know of Trinidad, or have been to, or have plans to, but they have their culture is extremely inviting, extremely welcoming, and it's a swag. It's a swag to it. When you go to Brazil, and you see Chinese people walking with a bop, and they're very Brazilian, as in like they're tanning, they're wearing speedos, they're playing soccer. You're like, yo, that's not normal. You don't see that everywhere that you see Chinese people. Chinese people, for the most part, stay really relatively close to their culture for a few generations before it finally goes away. But in these places, that's not the case. One generation and it's out of there, and they realize. And by the way, I just want to say, no disrespect to Chinese people. But if you guys have any Chinese friends, you realize like they are usually more business and serious than a lot of the other cultures out there. So when it comes to partying and things like that, they're not heavily into that, as their kids would be though. But their culture is not really like supportive of a party and hangout lifestyle. So when it comes to me and like maybe say other Jamaicans, you kind of look at culture as an exchange. And so if I'm giving you Jamaica, and Jamaica's amazing, Jamaica's the greatest place on earth, and you're from China, what are you giving me culturally? You're not giving me music. You could be giving me food, but we're going to get the Americanized version of your Chinese food. If you guys ever watched that documentary on General Tso, if you haven't, you should. It's very eye-opening and shocking to think that these are dishes that Chinese people don't even know about. They've never even heard of General Tso. They're like, yo, why would you do that? And then you find out, they interviewed the guy who created the dish in America, and he was like, this is what Americans want. They just want sugar. So he just took a bucket, a bag of sugar, and put it in Chinese food. And he was just like, all of a sudden, white Americans liked it. And that's what we would get. We would get that, like, so in other words, what I'm saying is like, it's not a fair cultural exchange. I feel like as a Jamaican, I'm giving a lot. I'm giving a lot of goodies. And so, you got to come up with something, man. Come on. You got to give me something. And usually they don't have anything that's appealing. That would make you be like, yo, I'm gonna do that forever. And so when they get here, they just immediately realize that. They go, man, I don't really have much that you guys are gonna want from me. So I'm just gonna take everything from you, and I'm gonna be with you guys. It's almost like you walk out your house one day and you're just like, yo, man, everyone here is so cool and so pretty and so nice, and look at them dancing, and they want me to dance. And I like to dance, and here I am dancing now, and all of a sudden I'm dancing, and before you know it, you're like, I don't want to go back to that old life. Nah, I'm going to stay here and dance, so that's my long-winded definition of being an Asian Jamaican.
What I was going to ask, why do you think the Chinese have that attraction to the culture everywhere but Africa?
No, I don't think they have it in America. I don't think they have it in America. I don't think they have it in
don't think
Australia.
it's
I
in
don't think they
America.
have it in Canada. No, not at all. I don't think they want to be American. And of course, I'm talking about 3-4 generations down. Yeah, maybe they'll be like, I'm American. I don't even know nothing about where I'm from. I think Africa is definitely a place they don't want to be from. I look for instance, you have Haiti. Haiti's a place that they don't want to be from, but Chinese people live there. Chinese people are right now creating roads, ports, they're gonna rock the place. Okay, they did it in Jamaica. They pretty much own Jamaica. But again, the difference is that when they come to Jamaica, they automatically go, "Yo, I don't want to go back." When they get to Haiti, they go, "I don't want to stay here. I do not want to be a part of this. Let me fix my road, do my tour, do my contract, and go back home. Or if there's a big business opportunity, I'll stay. But I'm going to do my best to make sure that my kid knows about the Chinese culture. Like I'm going to really, really OD do it." Well, when they get to Jamaica, they're like, "Yo, you know what? This culture is pretty awesome. You can learn some Chinese stuff if you want to. Yeah, I could show you like how to cook, some other stuff, but this culture is so dope that you're going to want to be a part of it." They don't look at African culture as dope. You know, they don't look at Haitian culture as dope. There's a lot of places that they don't look at. They don't look at American culture as dope. They look at America as an opportunity. They look at Africa as an opportunity. When you get to Jamaica, you realize they're in the culture. They're in it. Their kids are in it. They're an active participant. When you go to Brazil, same thing. They're actively participating in the culture. Trinidad, yo, tons of Chinese people just actively participating in the culture. These other places, they don't want to be a part of the culture. They don't want their kids learning the Akan language. You know, they don't want their kids doing none of that. You know, they want them to learn English because they need English for business. But they don't need them to learn any Yoruban language because where they going to go with that, right? In their mind. Unless you're staying there to just, open up a shop. Yeah, you need to know what they're saying. But for the most part, they're not trying to teach them that as a must for the world. And so, yeah, I think that those are the major roadblocks. Is the Africans have yet to have a culture that is appealing to even African Americans. That's a fact. I was there at the Year of the Return in Ghana, and I was shocked. I was shocked to see how many African Americans went and didn't want to be there.
Well, but I don't think, well, would you say it's an attraction to the culture or just an attraction to the capitalism? So I feel like if African
Yeah,
culture,
capitalism.
I feel like if the money comes into the picture, I don't think everyone would have that sentiment as much anymore.
Yeah. I agree. But for the most part, African culture is still not appealing to the world. Nobody in the world, even African Americans, are
This is a
looking
hot take.
are
This is a hot
are
take.
looking
This is
yeah, man, are looking at Africa and going, they have a lifestyle there that I want to be a part of. And I'm going to uproot my family and I'm going to live my life there. And that's all because of the media. We still have not gotten
Media.
a
Yeah.
great media
agreed.
look for
Agreed.
Africa. When I went to Uganda, man, I wish somebody had told me how beautiful Uganda was. Like y'all playing around. Y'all joking. Y'all are joking. You know, to not, let's look at this. Jamaica is branded pretty well, guys. You don't have to go anywhere in the world and
Mm.
think, no, they know Jamaica. I could go to Korea right now and be like, I'm from Jamaica. They're gonna go, hey, Irie. They're gonna say, yeah, man. They're gonna go. They're gonna say
Wow.
Bob Marley.
Mm.
They're gonna say ganja. Jamaica is branded so well. Reggae music, it's everywhere. Yo, do you realize I could literally go anywhere and immediately just open up a reggae restaurant and do well because my country has branded itself so well. Africa is just at the beginning of branding itself, and that's a continent. Yo, so many cultures within that continent. It's going to be a very long time before Africa gets that, man,
Or,
50 years old view of it, gone. And it's happening, though. It's happening rapidly, but it's still going to take a long time, and like I said before, when you go to Uganda, or let's even talk about Rwanda, you know, anybody that hasn't been to Rwanda, man, you kick yourself. You're not going to see a more beautiful place than Rwanda in the world. And I'll argue that with anybody. I'll literally get up on a stage, put on some boxing gloves, and fight that with anybody. You know, Rwanda looks like Narnia. You know, you're just sitting there like, yo, what just happened? How could a place be so
this
beautiful?
is great PR for Narnia. Jeez, I mean for Rwanda. Jeez, like Narnia? That's
Narnia,
that's
bro.
next level.
But that's also messed up, right? That I have to
Yeah.
refer it to some crazy mythical white guy place for it to be beautiful.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy to think that if I was Chinese, man, you think I've gotten a magazine that shows me how beautiful Africa is somewhere? You think somebody on TV has told me about how beautiful Africa is? No. So why, when I get there, would I even? My mind isn't even thinking, yo, I'm gonna engage these people. My mind is thinking, I'm gonna build this road, I'm gonna build this port, I'm gonna send that money back to China. I'm still Team China. I'm still Team China. I'm living in, what I'm saying, Lagos for 30 years. I'm still Team China. I'm still hiring Chinese, sending Chinese my money. I'm still rocking with China. And that's what I'm saying. That doesn't happen here. Once they get here, pretty much they start to go, yo, China, it was nice knowing you, but you need to see these girls. You need to hear this music. It's crazy down
Yeah.
here. And that's what I'm saying is that Ghana, Nigeria, I've been to Nigeria 4 times now. Nigeria's a rough city, man. And when you get there and you see how many people are living on top of each other, and you see how life is in a real city, not like a New York, but a real city. The only other place I can compare it to is a Chinese place, or an Indian place, where people are on top of people. And if you look at like China and you say to yourself, man, I don't want to go to China. What kind of life is that? If you look at India and you say, man, I don't really want to live in India. There's people on top of people. I don't want to. That's how everyone looks at like a Lagos. It's the truth. Something like 17 million people live in that place. Like, it's insane. And so, these are all things that make it very difficult for that PR to roll out, to be like, yo, you should come to Nigeria. But there's other parts of Africa that PR should be out. It should be well known that, if you move to Tanzania, you're going to be living an A-class life, bro. You're going to be living
Um, to
A-class.
segue to segue off of that, right? There's been a lot of speculation that uh, Jamaican and Nigerian artists have borrowed sounds from each other, and in a sense, it's kind of like you have Nigerian artists using patois in their music, and you have sometimes Jamaican artists on Afro beats,
Yeah.
and claims of like cultural appropriation going back and forth. Would you say it's more of inspiration than cultural appropriation, or would you say it's just like an opposite?
Man, if somebody came to me and told me that a black person was culturally appropriating from another black person, I would kick them in their face. Tell me what website I need to go to argue, to tell people that they're idiots. Where do I go? Where do I go?
Black Twitter, let me tell you.
Dummy.com.
Black Twitter is Black Twitter is where that this is happening. Black Twitter is going to tell
Why
you
do we
Black
do
Twitter.
that? Why do we think like that? Why do we look at another black person and go, "This is mine, that's not yours," and divide? It's one of
I'm
those
telling
weird
you.
things. It's one of those weird things. It's one of those weird things that I want to say slavery has done, where you can't even look at another person with your same face, your same skin complexion, your same everything, and look at them and go, well, mine's is mine, and what's yours is mine's, and we're brothers and we're sisters. And so if you say Wagwan and you're from Nigeria, why would I be mad at that? And if I say brother or chale, you gonna get mad at that? It's one of those things that's a slavery thing. That's got to be a slavery thing. It's got to be one of those weird things in slavery that
Yeah, one of them.
somebody's mind can make up an argument as to a African person appropriating African person. It just don't make sense.
And
Love that.
I
kind of
agree. I agree.
segueing into like what the conversations look like. In 2019, you dropped a bang, which was kind of like an intimate conversation and like a love letter between like the Caribbean and Africa. What was the intention behind kind of, creating that project and bringing all those people together?
Yeah, that was it. That was the intent, was to create a conversation between two places that I never saw speak. So, for instance, I would go to Africa and I would come back with stories about Africa. But Jamaica, even though they are very pro-Africa and speak about Africa all the time, it's not easy to get to Africa because of the poverty and also because of the way that slavery has conditioned our mind. To think that Africa is this super, super, super far place. It's not until I break out a map and begin to show people that if they look at the map, Brazil and Africa almost touch. That right there is usually mind-blowing. When somebody looks at a map and they go, now I understand why Brazil had the most African slaves in the entire trade. It's because, Senegal, Sierra Leone, and Brazil, they're like this. Ask anybody who's flown from Senegal to Brazil how long the flight is.
Yeah.
It's a short flight. Yeah, it's like a 5-hour flight. It's nothing. So we have it in our minds because we use the westernized map, which means we use the map that has Spain in the middle, and then we're the west, India is the east, and Nigeria and Ghana are the south, and as long as we use that map, and I forgot the name of that map, but it's been disputed, it's the wrong map. When you use a correct map, I believe that the military used the South Pole or North Pole map, and it has like the North Pole in the middle, and then it has the rest of the world around it like that. If you guys ever check one of those military maps with the North Pole in the middle and the rest of the world like that, again, you get to really understand that Africa is just this close. It's not that far. And so Jamaicans, our mind, the map itself creates this body of water that seems almost like, it'll take 2 days to get to another country. And the truth is that it's probably not much more of a flight than maybe going to England or Barcelona. But we're A-okay with going to Barcelona. Like, Barcelona's hype. Like, we're hyped up to go to Barcelona. But when you try and explain to somebody to spend that same money to go to Ghana, they're like, but why? What's in Ghana? And it's like, you're in Ghana, bro. Your life is in Ghana. And you can't even understand the wealth that trip will add to your life. Forget the fact that there's not many things to do as a Barcelona, let's say. The richness that's going to add to your life it's paid for your ticket 3 times, versus when you go when you go Spain and you're there and you see nothing but, white people that used to be conquered by the Moors, and you go to the sites and you see where they removed all the black statues and they removed all the black signs of them being conquered by Africa. You can still see it. You can go there and you can be like, they did a great job of making sure that nobody knows that they were conquered by Africa. They were really conquered by Africa, not just for like 20 years, for centuries. They did a great job of erasing that because Africans all over the world do not know that. They do not know that.
And I wanted to touch on a point that you made earlier, saying that you was in Ghana for the year of return, and you found that a lot of African Americans did not actually want to be there. And you also made a point that in terms of the PR and the marketing for Africa is not really that great, the branding. I wanted you to distinguish whether it was the fact that you thought Africa didn't have enough culture for the PR and branding to be good, or maybe just it wasn't developed well enough.
It's just not developed. Yeah, man, it's just not developed. I mean, we don't have to talk about if Africa has enough culture. There's no richer culture. What do you want culturally? It's there. It's a million different cultures on one piece of land. Being culturally deficit is not the case at all. But yeah, just being underdeveloped. The countries being underdeveloped themselves and not really looking at tourism and allowing these the white media to come in and portray it the way they want to portray it. We have not been in control of the narrative at all. And so Yo, you ask anybody, me not talk just white people, me not talk black people too. Ask anybody in America what them think about Africa. I guarantee the majority of them are still going to talk about famished kids.
Hmm.
They're going to talk about mud huts. They're going to talk about, roaming elephants and lions. They actually think lions live in the jungle. Do you know? Are y'all with me? They really think.
No way.
They really think. Even though the lion is the same color as the sand that it lives in, they really believe lions are living in a jungle, in a tree. Like, that's crazy how media can make you think something so idiotic.
Madness is madness. Well, I feel like just this whole part of the conversation, I've learned so much. It's been like so profound,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. This
Yeah.
is very important.
Okay, so last summer you produced the song of the summer, which made history, Toast by Coffee, which is kind of, if this summer was free, we would still be jamming it too. What was it like working with her?
Yeah, man, working with her was good. Working with everybody's good, man. I'm very blessed. And yeah, when you got something special, you feel it. So, music has had me in several special moments. Another special song that I did was called Show You Off with World from Nigeria. I've had many special moments in music. Get Free, Major Lazer songs, a special moment. So, yeah, you feel it when you have it.
And speaking of special moments, you've got the new song "Oh My God" with Nicki Minaj and Mr. Easy. Can you tell us a little bit about the vibe of the song and what it's like?
Yeah, man, it's a dancehall song, straight dancehall. So big up everybody where miss for your dancehall on their mainstream radio. But yeah, man, it's a dancehall song. And shout out to the Barbs. They're very
Supportive.
present online.
Wait, carry your Bob.
I am guilty as charged, man. I'm a
Okay.
Wow.
black woman. This is a black excellence, a black person stand person.
Wow.
Yeah, man, they are very present online. That's to say the least. So shout out to all of them, and big up to Mr. Easy, friend from a long time.
It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you today, Walshy. As in, like, you've dropped so many gems. I don't even know if I can collect them all in my arms.
Yeah,
And what you
Yeah,
did.
man.
I'm about to hit up Google real quick. I'm about to hit up Google right now. That's a big
Yeah, man.
Start
Google,
searching all of the
check it out.
cities that have been knocked down. Start searching the map between Brazil and
You
like.
know, the North Pole, everything. The Moors, everything.
Yeah, man, and I want to say to anybody out there that's listening, I'm just a kid from the ghetto. Like, don't get it twisted, right? Like, I grew up in Malines Road, Kingston, Jamaica here, and then I grew up in Carroll City, in Miami, and that's an area where Rick Ross is from, Flo Rida's from, and it's a bad area. And I had a lot of the thinking that I think a lot of I'm going to speak directly to Black Americans that plagues a lot of the Black American community, which is you live in a bubble, and this bubble's all you know, and you have no problem staying in that bubble for life, and you got your friends, you got your family, and life is good. I was that, and I thought life was good, even though I was losing friends, even though I was myself doing things. Even though I was in a food desert, even though I was probably living what I think most would consider an unhealthy lifestyle, I was okay with it because I just didn't know that there was something out there that was much better for me, and that was much better for my community, for my people. And so if you guys hear me talking, I've been blessed, like I said before, to travel so many different countries that I have a totally different perspective and view on life. And you can too. There's nothing that's stopping anybody out there from listening this to not have a global perspective on life and become a global citizen like I feel I am. It just takes life experience, and the only way you can gain life experience is to step out your house and do something. Now, I know we're in a place right now where nobody wants to step out their house and do much, but hopefully we will get to a place where Black people will be able to not only see images that are much more positive from places coming to them, being delivered to them, to invite them out into the world. But hopefully they'll take those invitations up and actually go out into the world. I know a few friends right now that I can think of that have never left Carroll City. They've lived in that part of Miami their whole life, and they have never, ever, 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 ever left. And when I say never left, I mean they've never even driven to another state. They've never left. They might not know another city in Florida. They've never left. And that's the kind of thing that I believe stops anybody and anybody from reaching their maximum potential. And I would love for black people to really realize that we are superheroes, and we just need to tap into that. We just need to make sure that we get into this mind frame where we generationally give the young black women and black men hope to understand that the situation that they're in was never meant to be permanent. Our ancestors never wanted that. Our ancestors never wanted us to call ourselves the N-word. Our ancestors never wanted us to call our women out of their name and disrespect them. This is not something that we created, nor is it something that we should be continuing. And so just like when you look at the diet of Africans, or you look at the diet of Asians, or you look at the diet of Indians, and you realize that genetically for centuries they've been eating that same food, and that's why they have no problem. They, the people in Delhi don't get Delhi belly, and then you come along and you start to catch diarrhea all over the place, and it's because it's just unnatural to you. And we've been living in an unnatural state for 400, 500 years, and we begin to feel that it's natural. And I'm hoping that everyone out there that's listening to this can feel awkward and uncomfortable. I really do hope that I've disrupted your day, and that you do not feel easy enough to go through that Popeyes drive-through line and understand that and think that that food was ever made for your system. We've lost so many people at the ages of 35, 40, 45 to unhealthy eating. I know that we have a lot of people that think that police are our major enemy. But if you look at any chart, at any city, anywhere in America, food is our major enemy. Nothing is killing us more than heart disease. We've got nothing but us to make this correct, because no one is going to make it correct for us. And I say that with a big fist in the air for the Black Lives Matter movement, even though I do wonder about its Marxism and its agendas and some of the other stuff. But I say that within the black community. I would never say that outside in a place where non-Africans would hear. I stand beside them. I stand beside knowing that the purpose is strong and it's a needed one. But we do need to also think about all of the things that will simultaneously get us out of situations. To all the fellas, I implore you, I implore you, I implore you, I implore you. I really implore you, please have kids with one person. I say it again, fellas, I really, 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 really would love if you guys can understand the economics behind having kids, and understand generational wealth, and understand how difficult that is going to be when you begin to have baby mamas. So I can't speak to the women. I'm sure that someone here can, and let them, on another show or whatever, just how important it is that they do their best. But I know that the fellas, we've joked around with this. My father had 12 kids, and nobody in the community ever looked at him like he was even slightly crazy or out of order. And I believe that he made it extremely difficult for us to grow wealth. And we've been doing very well, literally, without him. And that's a testament to the strength of Africans in diaspora. But I know that I'm probably in a minority of people who've been able to grab myself up from the bootstraps and do something with that without the help of any generational wealth before me. And so I do think that majority of us do have ourselves in a situation where buying a 99-cent burger is what we have to do because we need to get past the day to get to tomorrow. But I do want you guys to know, as long as you acknowledge that that's not where you want to be, you won't be there. The moment it gets into your mind and you're eating that 99-cent burger and you're going, you'll have to do this right now, but this is not where I want to be, you will no longer be there. And so I salute to everyone out there, and I say bless, I say peace to the gods, love and light, and much respect to you guys every single time. And hopefully somebody out there can DM me and say, yo, big up, I listened to the show and I love what you said, because I think that's what we all do this for, not just myself, but everybody on the screen, is to enlighten anyone out there who will give us a listen. And I am also very proud of you guys, and I applaud you guys for the work and hope that you guys continue to do this on much bigger and bigger and bigger levels. It's much needed. These conversations are good for the soul and good for the wallet. You see me?
Thank you so much, Walshy. Like, honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you and having you join us here on Culture Unfiltered. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. Big up on yourself, man. You know the thing already. I take a little picture, everybody. Mad thing. Yeah, man. So big up on yourself, man. Large up.
Thank you. Blessings. See you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Big up.